I'm Shah, or you can call me Charlie or Shah, either one. This is the You Feel Me podcast, first app. I am really excited because I've wanted to do this for a very, very long time. I want to have, I want to hold a space and create space where I can just ramble and talk and just kind of, it's like therapy for me to just kind of have a space where I can just talk and say whatever flows. But also I want to hold space for conversation with people that, I get to learn from, and I get to pick their brains. I think we all have our own story. We all have our own unique perspective on life, and we can learn a lot from each other. And, I'm just on my journey of just trying to figure this shit out, bro. Like, I've always found myself kind of like, I don't think I've ever really had like one kind of friendship group or one like best friend. I've had many different ones, and I've always kind of like, I guess, trying to be on like a journey of like finding where I fit in. And sometimes I feel like I don't know. But whilst I'm on this journey, I seem to be like gaining wisdom and knowledge of how different people act in different situations and why. And like, I empathize a lot with people and their stories and their experiences, and I kind of try and like bridge the dots together, connect the dots, and figure my own little kind of perception of things. And I just think, I want to kind of be a bridge to help share conversations that like maybe other people would never have come across before. You maybe never would have heard this person talk before. Or, maybe it's just what you needed to hear to resonate and to feel heard and seen. My life has been so saved by just hearing people online talk about shit that I needed to hear at that time, because honestly, I genuinely don't know if I would be alive now. I know that's kind of dark to say, but like, there has just been times where I felt so alone and just so like unseen and unheard. And when the people that you're surrounded by, and they could be people that really love you and you love them, and like they've been there for you, but like they're just not seeing things in the way you're seeing, maybe as your consciousness is elevating, or maybe as you're having so many different kind of terms you could call it, but let's just go with raising your consciousness, or as simple as just like going through some mental shit that you're trying to figure out. And listen, there's no other you, there's only one of you. So just because someone like lives with you or has known you for a long time doesn't mean they're gonna know exactly what you're feeling. Only you are, really. Only you're gonna know really how you feel it, and that's a beautiful thing, because I feel like that's how you can really find trust for yourself and a relationship for yourself. But until you start to do that, it's a very scary process, very uncomfortable sometimes. And that's all part of the adventure, I know, that's the thing. It's a cycle, isn't it? It's duality. There has to be that. There has to be these darker, more uncertain, more uncomfortable times, because that, with dark is light, light is dark, that we need both in order to feel it all. And it's a beautiful thing. A lot of us like sadness. A lot of us are addicted to sadness. We don't even realize it. You might say you hate it, but you choose it a lot. You choose that frequency a lot. And we all like to resonate there. And then we all like to kind of bring people down with us unconsciously, because it's a very attractive frequency sometimes. Sucks you in. It's kind of easier sometimes, or it feels that way. But once we unpeel these layers and we just come back to simplicity, because that honestly is what it's about, it's simplicity, then we just remember what we are. And it's none of all this it's none of these identifications and these outfits we wear. It's not our name, it's not the roles that we play, it's none of that. We're all made of the same thing, you know? So yeah, I don't know if that's too deep to hit off with, but expect deep. We're gonna go deep over here. And I know I waffle a bit, and I know like I don't always know how to kind of express things, but this is my platform to kind of push myself to just get better at it, you know? I think we all have a voice, and like, why not share what we feel? Because I just think you never know the seed you could plant in what you say. And that's why I also want to be careful with what I say and intentional. And so this is a little bit of a practice to do that, and it's hard because my mind is already active enough in a lot of ways. But there's never really been a good day to start this. Like, I've been thinking about doing this for a long time. I want to have conversations with people and share them, because I've met so many amazing people, and I know I'm going to continue to attract so many great people in my life that I just want to share this wisdom. I think that's what we have a voice for. That's what we can do. We can share the things that we learn. We can share our pain. We can share what helps us, because that's what connects us. I'm not in the business of trying to share what separates us. People spend so much time and energy, and it's exhausting, in just rambling on about what separates us and what divides us, and what does that do? And the mad thing is, I feel like sometimes people do that in the pursuit of actually trying to connect us. They don't realize that they're just causing more separation, more division, you know? A lot of protesters, a lot of people that try and do things for the greater good, I think sometimes end up doing the opposite, you know? But yeah, so I want to set the tone. I'm burning some incense right now. I've already lit it, but I'll show you which one I've lit, because I want to. This is my incense collection for all the visual watchers right now. I love incense. I just feel like it sets the tone. Having I just feel like the sense of smell is really strong for me. I've always been really deeply affected, like, by my sense of smell. When I walk past someone that smells good, I'm like, oh, you smell amazing. And it just changes my mood. But in the same way, if I smell something disgusting, I'm like, no. Like, I don't know. It just affects me. So anyway, today I'm burning. This was a gift to me. These are some like chakra incense, and I am burning the root chakra one, because I thought that is a beautiful way to set the tone, solid foundation at the root. Let's go. So yeah. So I'm gonna close my eyes right now and just take a breath, just to sink into this moment, because I've been feeling a little bit anxious. I'm not gonna lie to you. So if you're able to right now, close your eyes with me, and let's just take a couple breaths together, because I know that the power of breath is so powerful. It's so valuable, and it just brings us back to what really matters. Our breath, being alive, being here, being. Okay. Okay. Take a breath with me. So let's breathe in. And exhale. Breathe in. And exhale. One more. Inhale. And exhale. I needed that. I fucking needed that. Oh my god, bro. Okay, so let's just get right into it. I have been anxious. Very heavily anxious the last couple of days. Now, I get a bit overwhelmed because, especially with starting things, because I'm like, I don't know where to start. Like, do I need to tell you everything about me? Do I need to tell you like my whole life story, where I was born, my siblings, I don't know where to start. I think the best way is to just go in with how you're feeling that day, and you can get to know me as we go on this journey. Can I just say I'm so grateful right now because I love where my window is. I love how the sun is just pointing in directly. I love this time of day sometimes. It's just so beautiful. I love it. Sometimes like I'll sleep with my curtains open every night, and sometimes I'll just like wake up, or before I go to bed, or sometimes I'll see the moon. And it was a full moon last night, so I'm blaming the moon. Listen, I'm learning a lot more about astrology, or I'm trying to as I go, and the moon is powerful, man. Of course it is. Of course it is. She is powerful, and I am feeling so much right now, so I'm just blaming on the full moon. honestly yeah, it's, I don't know, I'm feeling very overstimulated, very overwhelmed. I'm kind of on a journey as well at the moment of figuring out if I'm neurodivergent. Some people close to me have been diagnosed with it, and it's just become very apparent, and I've been told by therapists as well, multiple different therapists, that, you know, there are some kind of ADHD, autistic things going on. So I'm kind of in the process right now of maybe getting a diagnosis for that, because I just think it would help people understand me a bit better. Because I do feel quite misunderstood. And like people don't really get me. And it's hard because I think I've got very good at masking, and I've got very good at doing what I think I need to do in social situations, but I actually find it exhausting. I don't think I'm ever in a social situation where I'm not completely in my head, and I'm just like, it's exhausting. I've got a whole list on my phone of reasons why I think I could be. Is that normal? I don't know. I've got a whole list on my phone. And it's just, I don't know. I think I've found a bit of comfort in like, oh, so what if it's not me? What if I'm not the problem? What if there's nothing wrong with me? It's just my brain's a little bit different. Then I also go on this massive like spiral of thinking like, okay, but what if like what is that? Like what is different about my brain? Everyone's brain's different. Everyone literally has a different kind of brain. And I always think of things energetically, not like in this physical realm as well. So I take it away from that, and then I'm like, well, why? Like on an energetic level, when I'm talking about like frequency, because that is how I see everything. I honestly see everything as just resonating at different frequencies, and so what we're experiencing in this realm is like a hologram of waves, sound waves that are resonating, that when it becomes this dense, we are experiencing it on a more dense material physical level, because it's slowed down. We're seeing things, and we're just at a more dense level in this realm. But I know, and I've experienced things on a more fluid, energetic realm and frequency. That's what we go when we dream. And, you know, what was my point with this? Oh yeah, my point was just like, yeah, I think I have so much, like I was saying with my friendship groups, like I'm very like in lots of different places, and it's the same with like philosophy and, you know, learning about kind of different cultures and religions and ways of life. And I have no one way of being. I love it all. I love learning about it all. But it, with my brain, it kind of is scrambled. It's kind of like scrambled, because it's almost like there's so much going on. I don't know how to express it sometimes. And I get a bit tongue-tied. So yeah, we're getting better at it though. A lot of it is, you know, how I feel about myself and trust for myself and the things that I say. I posted a video last year about trusting myself. I've obviously gone on this journey of recovering from an eating disorder, and it's the biggest blessing. It's crazy. It was the hardest thing I've ever had to go through, and I'm still going through. I'm not going to lie to you. But my mental health has kind of always been a bit of a, you know, a journey. And I don't know, will I always be on it, or will I come to some kind of plateau of like, yes, I'll go through suffering and different things will come up in life, different challenges come up in life, and pain will obviously be there. But like, will I be able to like have more of a solid foundation where I don't feel like I'm spiraling all the time, every time something feels hard? Like, will I always feel like I'm sinking and losing? Like, I don't know. Will I be able to just kind of find that peace of mind for the majority of my life? Like, for the most part. I hope so. I believe I will. But the last couple of days I found it a bit hard. But yeah, no, what I was saying with like my eating disorders is it's been such a beautiful blessing, because in recovering from that, because of my obsession with just wanting to like be my best self, like and be healthy and get better, because all I want to do is help people do the same. How can I do that if I'm not doing that myself? How can I help people if I'm talking from a space that is still, you know, self sabotaging or self harming in a lot of ways, self abuse, self hatred, self loathing, and so the opportunity of recovery was like this big silver lining and blessing in my life. And I know I was always destined to go down that path because of everything. It was exactly how it was meant to be. My experiences of growing up, the stories I've obviously ended up telling myself, the stories that were subconsciously running the show for me. It was always meant to be. And now I'm in this position where I'm like, okay, well, here we are. I had deteriorated my mental and physical health. This time last year, I couldn't do a lot. I couldn't even like decide. Like, everything was too much. Deciding what to eat, deciding what to wear. I mean, these are still problems I actually struggle with right now. So for some reason, it's the small things for me. Like, it's the, when you give me a big challenge and I put my mind to it, I can fucking do it. Like, my boyfriend made me go on a run once, and we ended up doing 25k. And I that was like my first run. I'd never even run before. I wasn't even like necessarily fit. And I did a 25k run. Bro, hips and knees were gone at the end of it. And also, it wasn't just any kind of run. By the end of it, we were like along the seafront. It was started raining and it was windy, and I had rain slapping me in the face. Running is a mind game. It's a mind challenge. So less about the physical and more about what you mentally tell yourself in that moment. What I've learned in some of the like big challenges that I've had in the last few years that have been presented with me, because we've had accidents, I've nearly died. I'm very lucky to have been alive. We had a bad accident 5 years ago, and what I've learned from all of this is like, my mind is very strong, but I've always thought it's very weak. That's the kind of undertone, that's the underlying story and message that was always kind of playing, because kind of like not being brought up with the most confident archetypes. And that's no shade to anyone in my family or anything, but just like not like very confident, like let's go, you can do it. And so I've always wanted to, always had that drive and that like ambition, and like it's been there, but it's I don't know, I just feel like there was not trust for myself, no belief that like my voice needed to be heard, or my art was good enough, or my anyone deserves to listen to me or look at me. Like there was a lot of that. And yeah, I mean, these kind of like hard, when you've kind of dealt with that side of things, when you've kind of not had much trust for yourself, sometimes you overcompensate in other ways, and in fear of getting it wrong, you end up building these structures subconsciously, unconsciously, that are there. They could express themselves as like perfectionism, which I never used to think I have. Now I realize, oh my god, yes, I'm a perfectionist. And it's like I have to tick the boxes, I have to make sure these things, otherwise I'm unsettled and my whole nervous system is dysregulated, and I'm just like not okay. And so yeah, sometimes we can overcompensate, and so that's why I say I always feel like I was meant to go down this path of an eating disorder, because even though I would have never said that control is something that I need, it's like I needed control and safety within my life, because I didn't feel confident, I didn't feel like I was capable, I didn't feel like I was able to do things well. I'm always the baby, I'm the youngest in the family growing up, and I always felt like I was the baby. I was just the cute one. I didn't have anything to say or to share, and I wasn't like, I just felt like my voice wasn't really meant to be heard. And that kind of, no one said that to me. It was just the way it was felt, like in a family dynamic. Like I can't be involved in like the family conversations, the adult conversations, sorry. And also like my, I don't know, my what am I trying to say? Yeah, the family conversations, I just didn't feel like I was like involved in them. And also I was clumsy. I was a clumsy girl. And sometimes then things get said like, oh no, you don't do that because you'll break that, or you'll stain that, or you'll get that wrong. And that comes from other people's traumas, maybe, to control things. And it's a repeated cycle, patterns get passed down. I'm trying to break these cycles. How do we break these cycles? We become aware of them. Awareness is everything, and to heal something it has to be revealed. So these painful times, I'm grateful for them, because they are the opportunities to heal. Without what I've gone through, without going into that darkness, I genuinely would never have been able to acknowledge these things and overcome them. They are so, so valuable in the journey of my life. And also then I'm able to share them with other people, which then in real time when they're listening and they're suffering, it can help them in the same ways that when I was suffering, it was genuinely hearing other people talk about what they'd gone through and stuff that helped me genuinely get through it. There's just so many people that I was able to connect with through YouTube mostly. But yeah, different podcasts, a lot of different books, and just different social media platforms, to be honest. Not just, I guess, Instagram. A few people on Instagram I've connected with. And it's just allowed me to feel like, oh my God, I'm not the problem. I'm not the problem. There's nothing wrong with me. I'm fine. I'm just doing all I know how. I'm literally trying my best. One thing I can say is I'm trying my best. I need to remember that. I'm trying my best. Oh my goodness. Aren't we all? I get so interested by like thinking about, is anyone really to blame for what they do? Now, pause, because I know there's a line here and we can go on and it can get like, it can be a bit of a touchy subject, because when we're talking about really awful things, it's like, yes, that person's to blame. And of course we all have our own power to, we are all responsible for our own life. No one else is. We have the power to create our life in whatever way. But at the same time, it's like everything that we're experiencing is because of our experiences. And we were born at the exact time to go through in the exact family, in the exact place and environment, to grow up to be exactly who we could have only ever been, due to the fact that we were born at that exact time, in the exact family, in that exact environment. And sometimes I think like, well, like, what if, like, I don't know. Sometimes I think if there was like CCTV, or if we were suddenly able to watch someone's life from start to now to present, obviously if there was a way of watching that faster so that we didn't have to actually spend that much time watching it, then we would understand exactly why they've made the choices they've made, because it would make sense to us, because we'd see that what they've gone through and what has led them to make those decisions and think in that way. And a lot of it would probably, if they've ever done something that was not right or not nice, let's say, then we would have compassion, because we'd understand that maybe we would just see things from their perspective. That's the thing, it's all perspective. We can only see from our perspective because it's the only perspective we have, because the only experience we're having right now in this lifetime is this life as the person that you are right now, and me as Charlie. And I'm just like, yeah, I don't know, I just feel like I empathize with people a lot, and I see pain and I see where people do things, and like, I just wish we could all just, doesn't Jesus say something? I'm not Christian, I'm not religious, I'm spiritual, I'm aware, but I'm not religious, but I love learning about the different archetypes and sages and deities and gods and spirits, because I believe they all have an underlying similar message, very much the same message, and I love their teachings. So yeah, I haven't learn a lot about Jesus, but I watch a lot of people that kind of talk about him often. And I just know that Jesus and what he shared was fucking beautiful and deep. And controlled religion has done a lot to kind of structure around that and change it and make it a thing. Make it something that it I don't think was the message that he was ever sharing. He was ever intending to share. However, he was a very tapped in being, and my point is, he said something like, "Forgive them, for they know not what they shall do." I definitely butchered that, but you know what I mean. Forgive them, for they know not what they do. And I'm pretty sure he was, and I'm sure someone else. Oh no, let me just stop, because I make myself look dumb sometimes. You know what I mean? It really annoys me. The point being, the message I'm trying to get across is that, like, even his what's the word? It was like the people that were like hurting him, the people that were keeping him. I feel like I'm just telling this story so bad. The people that were keeping him captured, the people that were like, I'm so bad with my words sometimes. Let me not say that. I'm good with my words. I'm beautiful with my words. I'm learning. I'm trying. Okay. You're gonna get to see how my brain works here, because this is uncut shit. Yeah. Even the people that are trying to hurt him, essentially, he still had this level of compassion and empathy. Forgive them, for they know not what shall they. Forgive them for they. Bro, I need to Google this one. Forgive them, for they know not what they do. Yeah, something like that. Because at the end of the day, they are only at the level of consciousness that they are at based on where they're at in their life. So forgive them, because if they had a higher level of consciousness, they wouldn't be doing those things. And you can't force someone to be at a higher level of consciousness. We're all on our own soul journey. We're all learning as we go. There was a time where you had that level of consciousness, and maybe it was a couple lifetimes ago, maybe it was this lifetime, but we are all on our journey, and it takes to being at a certain level of consciousness to even understand that with compassion, and knowing that that's not to do with ego, that's not to do with anyone being better than anyone, because we all have something to learn from each other. But it's just about being aware of that. And yeah, I just think sometimes I question, like, what, how can we really blame people for where they're at? We can't. So I kind of go in and out of, like, getting bothered by the way people do things, because I'm very sensitive, and I feel like I get very bothered sometimes, and then I'm like, don't be bothered. Don't be bothered. It's not anyone's fault. Like, judge no one, judge nothing that occurs. I remember Deepak Chopra says that in the seven spiritual laws of success, which was one of the first books I kind of read to do with kind of spirituality and self-development. It's kind of the only type of books I read. I never read fictional books other than The Alchemist, but I believe The Alchemist is much more than fictional, and it's one of my favorite books. I love that. If you haven't read it, go read. But yeah, just judging nothing that occurs, judging no one, not having assumptions on people, not, it's all the simple things. It's all the simple things. What's the other book? The four agreements. In there, one of the agreements is to not make assumptions, to not take things personally. And that, if you haven't read that, that's a good one as well. But yeah, these are all simple things. I just feel like all the cliches, all the simple things are genuinely what brings us back to peace, because we make things so much more complicated for ourselves. Why do we do this? Why? You know? We make all of these things, these structures and these different things that then have to follow to keep up with this invisible like success that doesn't even like doesn't have any value. Like, it doesn't value, the way I said that, value, doesn't have any value. And we just create all these things for ourselves, and we live by them, and we all care. But do we really care? Why do we care? Something about us finds this hard. Why do we all care? And we just do it. We put ourselves through this fucking shit, and then it's like we're just suffering when the simple life is there. But what do? We don't choose it. We choose the hard way. We choose what feels hard. You know? Same way people go back to their exes, that in these toxic relationships, they just choose what's hard because it feels something about it, you know? There's something about that lower frequency that some people just get addicted to. And in different ways, you know, for some people it will be, going back to their toxic ex because it just feels familiar. But that sense of familiarity can be so much so it can be different for everyone, right? So for me, like, I think I get addicted to being sad and confused and like spiraling and just feeling a bit unsafe. And I guess it all comes back to childhood and like thinking about where that was first felt, right? Like, where was that first felt? That feeling of feeling a bit unsafe and a bit scared. And then we repeat that. It's funny how we repeat the things that we don't like, but it feels familiar. It's weird. Anyway, so where am I at in life right now? Oh, where am I at? Music. How's music? That's the question everyone asks me. Music. What's going on with music? You still doing music? You still making songs? You singing? Blah, blah, blah. Yes, I'll always be doing music. I love it. It's a form of expression. It's a form of art. Of course, it's beautiful. Sound is everything. It's healing. But I think that's what I want to do. I want to focus more on the healing side of it, and I always have, in the sense of like I've never written anything that I don't genuinely feel. I find it impossible to lie. I can't write a lyric that doesn't make sense to me, if you know what I mean, or doesn't really resonate with something I'd say or feel, or it doesn't feel true to me. So everything that comes out of me is authentic and real. It's never said just to kind of create a catchy hook. Yes, maybe sometimes that'd be the intention in the studio, like, oh, let me write a catchy hook, but same time, like, it has to feel real to me, or something about it has to do you know what I mean? I don't know. So I don't know, I'm definitely still always in the space of creating, but I just think now everything that I do has to be about healing and helping people, and it has to come from a space of truth and the source, and honesty and authenticity, and so it's moving with me. Everything that is changing and evolving in my life, of course, is going to move with me. So my music is moving and evolving too. So I think, like, I don't know how much it will change. I think sonically it will. But at the same time, just kind of business wise, how I've always had it in my mind, I don't want to play the game. I don't want to sell a part of myself to the game. And there was a period of time where I was like, yeah, I'll play the game just to kind of get a bit of this. And that's so many people's perspectives now. It's like, oh yeah, but you got to do what you got to do. Like, you just kind of play the game a little to just get your foot in the door, and then you can do what you want to do. But I've seen how it doesn't get on with me. My soul doesn't want to do that. It doesn't feel right. It affects my mental and physical health when I put myself in situations that are detrimental. And it's not to say that like I'm not strong enough to do it, because I did it. Like, I was doing it. It's that I can't even create from a beautiful space when I'm doing that, because, you know, when I'm pushing myself to work at a certain pace, or to do things just to look good, which can become so, like, just so much too much for my brain to handle, because I swear, like, it's a lot just trying to kind of fit in, to like selling yourself. You've got to market yourself, of course, and I get it, but it's hard because it's yourself, and you have to put yourself into a box and categorize yourself in order for people to want to buy what you're selling and buy into you. And it's a weird concept to me. It's hard for me to do that because I am not just one thing, and I don't want to just focus on just one thing, and I struggle with that. And so, yeah, for me, doing that was taking up so much energy and so much of my so much of my energy that I had nothing left for creativity. It was coming from my excess. No, it was coming from my what's the word? I wrote this in my journal. It should never come from your... I always forget words. And it's like, bro, if I just remembered this word. Basically, it should come from your excess, not what you already have. Does that make sense? And I felt like so much of my energy was being used up on things that were just like soul destroying. That I just had no time or energy for, like, the creative side of things. It didn't come from a good place, and I got so caught up, and I still do get so caught up with, like, with just like placing myself in the world, like, this is me, have this. I think we're all just different, and we're all changing, and humans just love to categorize and to label things, right? We love to just stick a label on that and be like, well, that's that, well, that person's got that, so give them that. And it's like, we are ever changing. Like, right now I have millions and trillions of cells in my body that are just changing, ever changing. Everything's fluid and everything is constant. Nothing stops. Right? It's crazy. So, yeah. I'm looking at my journals here because I'm a journaler, can't lie. And I've always said, like, I feel like I've got some gold in here, because I sometimes feel like when I'm writing, I can just really hit the nail on the head. I've always been a good writer when I'm sitting down and I'm just letting it flow, kind of just come straight from source through me out. So sometimes I just feel like I want to share what I've written in here. So I'm going to start with this journal, and this was like the oldest one out of these three. But actually it was like this time last year. So these 3 journals are all within the last year. And I'm going to open it at a random page, okay? And we're going to share it to just kind of finish off on this section of the podcast. I just want to like leave it with a journal entry. Okay. I don't know why I'm just doing this. It's like I'm shuffling it, but it's the pages are all in the same order. Okay, you know? Okay. I'm going to go to where it has the date so that I know. Okay. I'm just going to read. I don't know what this says. I'm a little bit nervous. So let's just go. At the top, I've said, remove things to see how much you relied on them. Be free of attachment to rules and restrictions. See, I've always had this thing of rules and restrictions and just trying to be free and more fluid, especially in the last year. Okay. But yeah, remove things to see how much you relied on them. That was something that I learned in therapy. You have to remove something to see how much you've relied on it. So some people, will do some things. They'll have their way of doing things, their patterns, and the way they like to do things. And I'm very much one of those people. And people might say, "Oh, like, have you ever tried not doing that?" And that might bring up some resistance. And they might say, well, are you addicted to that? Is that quite a habit for you, or whatever it is? And you might say, no, it's not. Like, I could easily stop. But sometimes you have to remove things to see really what your relationship was with that thing. So the example that comes to mind was when I was recovering from an eating disorder. Exercise is obviously a big topic within that, and I always felt like the exercise side of things wasn't excessive, and that was okay for me. But then she asked me to go without it then, and I was like, yeah, but I'm doing my like Pilates and my yoga, so like I like to do that. And although yes, I do, my yoga for me is when I go on the mat, that is a time for me to genuinely come back to mind and body and connect mind, body and soul, and really use it as a practice to get into the flow. It's a mental thing, not physical, not just physical. But at certain times when my perspective on things was very warped by this disorder, there are times when you can prioritize whatever kind of physical exercise in an unhealthy way or in an excessive way. So, not wanting to do anything else until I've done that exercise, and just not being able to deal with it if I haven't, and whatever it may be. So for me, when she said, okay, well, let's try and go without doing yoga for a week, I was like, what? She was like, look, I understand that it's something that you love to do for your mental, but I'm only asking you to not do it for a week, just to see. And then we can see how you're feeling when after a week you come back next week. So I remember I did it, and I realized like, oh, I don't like this. And it said a lot for me, because it just showed, okay, I am relying a lot on the exercise side of things to feel validated, to feel in control, to tick the box that I've done enough, to feed back into the behavior and the cycles of behavioral patterns that this disorder has me locked in. And I wasn't even aware of that, but I had to remove it in order to figure that out, you see? So, yeah, I just thought I'd share that. Everything that has a beginning has an end. Make your peace with that and all will be well. That's nice, Buddha. That was from Buddha. Everything that has a beginning has an end. And that's hard to accept. You know, we don't like to accept that there are endings. But really there's never an ending, because it always goes back with that, you know, to in this kind of 3-dimensional place that we're in, like there are ends and they are hard. You know, death being one. It's hard. But everything has an end. So when you do make peace with that, all is well. We just don't like to make peace with that. Do you know what I'm saying? So I was right. So this was last year. It was literally like nearly a year ago I wrote this. In 6 days, it will be a whole year since I was writing this. But I remember at the time of writing this, I was reading a book that was about cognitive behavioral therapy, which is CBT, which is literally the therapy that I was receiving at that point. That helps me a lot. But it was also with Buddhism and bridging the two. And it was a really good book. So there was a lot about Buddhism and kind of, they're very similar, you know. This is what I'm saying, the simple things are the most valuable, because everything in Buddhism, a lot of the Buddhist teachings, is just simplicity. It's just the kind of wisdom you already have in yourself. You just get a bit mixed up in distorted thought. And cognitive behavioral therapy, which is, you know, therapy that psychologists and psychotherapists use for many different kind of mental disorders and distorted thought. It's using therapy for that, and it's so helpful. But they're so similar. The simplicity. It's just I always say it's getting real. When you really just get real. And I don't mean getting real just like in a sense of like, oh, just get real. Just get real. I don't know. I'm not meaning in a horrible, pushy way of like, you know, forget your feelings. No. I just mean like, take off the veil. Wipe the dust off. Like, get rid of the masks. Get rid of the distortion. Let go of all the structures you're holding on to. Like, brush it all off. And what's left? The simplicity? Peace. But it's everything we carry with us and we hold on to. And we're like, I need to carry this thing. That is what causes us this distorted thought. And that's why I love these Buddhist teachings. You talk about right understanding, seeing things as they are, acceptance of certain aspects of reality that are difficult to accept, aware of our limits, mindful of difficulties presented by perception, acceptance, seeing life as it is. Impermanence. Nothing lasts forever. Everything changes. Our thoughts, feelings, bodies, and the world continuously change. Oh my God, that's just what I was saying. We learn new things and we forget other things. We like the illusion of permanence because it gives us a sense of security. We become attached to this security and become distressed when the inevitable reality of impermanence intrudes. We enjoy our pleasures, but we feel lost when they fade. We fear difficult times because we're afraid they'll be permanent. Because everything is impermanent and nothing lasts, nothing can be held on to. This is why I love the symbolism of sakura, which is cherry blossom. It's a Japanese concept of impermanence. It resembles impermanence because cherry blossom blooms for a very short amount of time, and so it resembles how nothing is permanent. And even though it's so beautiful, it doesn't last. And that's literally what I was saying before. It's like everything, nothing lasts. But when we can make peace with that, we can appreciate the beauty while it's here. Impermanence is life's number one inescapable and painful fact. We are ever changing like the weather. And the Buddha's last words express this. Impermanence is inescapable. Everything vanishes. And humans don't want to hear that. Vanishes? What, you mean this right here is gone? I don't have this no more. Yeah, baby. This body's nothing. This body's going to wither away like every single human body has ever withered away. Lasts roughly around 100 years, sometimes more, most times less. And that's just life. It's death. How freaky. The unknown is so freaky. Should we be scared of it? It's mad because I just had this thought of like, I mean, yes, I'm not lying, I'm scared of it. But why have I been so much more scared of all these materialistic weird things that are happening during life than I am of actual end of life? Like, throughout my day today and yesterday, for example, I've experienced so much more fear about all these other things, you know, whether it's, I don't know, like music related, financial reasons, relationships, it could be anything. We go through so much fear of loss of all these things. And it's like, why do we get so scared of that when we're going to die? And I'm not saying, just be scared of death. No. I'm just saying, like, put things into perspective, bro. Like, don't have fear of any of it, right? But, like, yeah. We expect most things to be as they were yesterday. Ooh, that's so true. That's like Joe Dispenza says. You know, all the thoughts that you have in your head, you have like something like 64,000 thoughts every day or something like that. And they're always a repeat of the thoughts you had yesterday. Well, because your brain has these neurological pathways, right? You're just thinking, repeat of all the things that you thought and have always thought. And sometimes new thoughts will come in, but that takes intention and it takes awareness. And that's why if you ever want to change your life, you want to change your body, you want to change what is around you, you want to change your reality, you have to get real and you have to have awareness and you have to work on changing those neurological pathways. You have to understand, babes, like a lot of this isn't your fault. You're repeating the same thoughts you felt and thought for so long, for years and years and years. They've just repeated. You're not even consciously deciding to have these thoughts. They're just popping up. Do you know what I mean? Don't blame yourself. I'm telling this to myself right now. Don't blame yourself, Shah. Thank you. Every day for the last 4 years, my car turned on when I turned the key. Today it did not. That's an example. We expect most things to be as they were yesterday. Yeah. So as soon as it doesn't happen, we freak out. When this happens, we feel uneasy with feelings of sadness, anger, or fear. Yeah, because we just expect things to be as they were, you know? And then when something doesn't go right, it's like, oh, that felt weird. That felt different. I feel like, yeah, we should learn to embrace that difference, embrace the change, but we become very scared of it. We're such freaks of like habit, you know? Some people are better than others. Some people are really good at adapting. Me, I'm not great with it and I want to be better with it. Yeah. Any tips, let me know on getting better with adapting and being flexible. I am flexible. My yoga. But my head, my mind need to get a bit better. But that's why I'm practicing Bhakti yoga as well, which I'm definitely going to share more about. I'm learning a lot about Bhakti yoga. I read, sorry, I'll come back to this, but I read the Bhagavad Gita maybe like 2 or 3 years ago, and I definitely didn't receive the messages I was getting within that book at the time. This is what I mean about level of consciousness. I just wasn't receiving it at that time. But recently I have connected with a lot of people who are raising their consciousness, and I'm very interested in a lot of the teachings and a lot of the messages, because it seems so pure, it seems so joyful, it seems so true, and just kind of brings you back to your source. So I've been reading a lot of books on it. This one is about chanting the mantras. This is to do with Krishna consciousness, and George Harrison and John Lennon were two great, what would the word be? They kind of brought this to the West. Well, no, they didn't, but they helped spread it and share it a lot. And the power of mantra meditation. So this has been amazing. I've been attending some kirtans, which are like mantra meditations through sound and dance and music, and it's beautiful. It's really elevating. There's like no way you can listen to it and be sad. So that's definitely something that's been helping. And then I also got this book because I wanted to learn more about Krishna, because Hinduism and, the Vedic scriptures have always kind of, I read the Bhagavad Gita because I wanted to understand more, like all that time ago. Like I'm always interested in learning about these things. You hear names of these deities like Krishna and Ganesh, Vishnu, Brahma, Atman, Kali, goddess Kali. I love her. I love her energy. So many. Obviously, I'm not going to name them all because there's hundreds and hundreds. But you hear of these names, and I'm like, I want to understand it. Like, I want to understand it. So definitely on another episode in the future, I'm going to have some conversations with some people who can help allow me to understand more about it, and hopefully everyone else, because it's something I want to understand. I'm skeptical of everything until I can kind of get with it, but I'm an energy person and I sense the energy of things. And with this, I feel that the underlying message of all these stories and all the stories that are told to do with these different deities, maybe they come out in more of a theatrical kind of dramatic sense, but I sense the energy behind it and I get it. Again, like I'm trying to like make sense of all the different things that I've learned, and I kind of see the same thread that goes through them all. I learned I really want to read is it the Tao Te Ching? I think that's what it's called, because certain things that I've learned that have kind of derived from that, I really get with. The gene keys, Richard Rudd, his concept on the gene keys really got with me. I think I like things that speak of energy and frequency, because I can see it in more of a scientific way that kind of makes sense to me. I'm like, like I felt it. All these things interest me, the psychedelics, and I'm a sensitive soul, and I'm not trying to do really psychedelics like that. I don't know. Sometimes I think maybe I would like to go on a journey with some plant medicine, but I also sometimes feel like I just don't know if it's for me. if it's necessary for me, maybe it's exactly what I need. But then I also don't ever think we need it. I also think that it's the choice that we make to kind of come back to our hearts that is helping us elevate our consciousness and heal ourselves and break these cycles and release so much, release what we don't need. Like, I think we, yes, sometimes these drugs can be a way to that, but it's not the only way. Definitely. So I'm a sensitive, so I'm like, I don't know if I need that. But yeah. So where was I going with this? So yeah, I'm just kind of trying to like find my own theory for it all. And that's kind of why I love Krishna consciousness, because the more I'm learning about Krishna consciousness, Bhakti yoga, the practice of Bhakti yoga is to kind of, to take what resonates and to leave what doesn't. Krishna is never trying to get you to, never forcing nothing down your throat. The truth is there, take it or leave it. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. But the more you take it, the more fun you'll have, the more joy you'll feel, the more you practice, is what they say. But here, I'm at the beginning of my journey, so we'll see. But yeah, so I got given this version of the Bhagavad Gita because this is slightly different, translated by somebody different, so there's different forms of it, and that's why it's actually called, this one is called the Bhagavad Gita as it is, because it's been translated straight from Sanskrit. So it is as it is. So that's why I'm gonna start reading that as well. But yeah, I'm just trying to make my sense of everything and share it. This is another thing. I feel like, when I learn these different things from different places and I hear different people's theories and philosophies, I'm grateful, because when it kind of clicks something in my head, or I feel like I resonate, or in some way, I'm like, I'm so grateful for that person for sharing that, because somebody else may have shared it, but I didn't receive it, because the way in which they resonate, the way, their frequency, their way of telling and expressing I wasn't able to receive the message, maybe if it was from someone else, but from this person I have been. And that's kind of how we network, that's how we share, that's how we spread, that's how things move and resonate outwardly, because you may not connect with the way one person says something, but somebody else says something and it hits. I was having a conversation with my friend the other day, and we was talking about this, because I was like, it's just interesting, because like, I guess everyone has like a similar message. We're all trying to get to that certain frequency, we're all trying to get to that level of peace, but our ways in which we do it are different. That's why there are these different religions or teachings or ways of life. We all have our different ways of getting there, because we're all completely unique. So there's different things that will hinder us, and there's different ways of doing it. We are all different beings, but essentially we are the same. We are made up of the same thing. But what's so special is that when we step into our authenticity and we share things in our way, we're not trying to do it in another way, we do it in our way, other people are able to receive a message. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, so I thought about like the gene keys, for example. I remember when I was like just looking into the gene keys a little bit, I was like, wow, like this is what I've been trying to express for so long. And I just felt so seen and so heard, because I just felt like it really resonated with me, this concept of like looking at life and why we're on this soul path, and the reason why we find like our our souls, individual soul journey has the challenges and has the shadow and like the gift within that shadow that we have. And you know, when you like connect it to numerology, and you connect it to astrology, and you connect it to, you know, I even connect it to the energy of tarot, and within the cards, the different energies throughout the deck, like what they all resemble. And you connect it to sacred geometry. You know what I'm trying to say. I'll get better with my words, I promise. But yeah, just connecting them all and just seeing the thread that lies within all of them. My point is that, yeah, people, when they step out as themselves and they are their authentic selves, people are able to receive a message. And if that authentic person didn't ever do that, then the message might not have been received by a person. And even if it was received by one person, it was received, it was shared, it was spread. And I just think there's something so powerful in that. Like, that's what we're here to do, right? We're not here to just make money and fucking fuck bitches. I mean, if you want to do that, you can, but then you be at that level of consciousness, innit? Like, yeah. I don't know. We're here to learn. Yeah, I'd say we're done here. Thank you for listening to me ramble on for quite a bit of time. I'm excited to have some conversations with people, because it was going to bring something else into this that I think is going to be really beautiful. But I'm always here to keep it real and to share. And every episode is going to be something different. So keep coming back, keep being you, and just keep bouncing back. That's my one thing I want to say, is that it's easy to forget in this life. It's so easy to forget the things that help us. But I've learned that it's not about just getting it right or getting to a place where you're like, I've got it now. I've acquired what I needed to acquire and I'm fine. I'm good. No, it's a journey that kind of never ends. And to be honest with you, you're always going to fall out of it. But then you have to bounce back. And that's what it's about. Just keep bouncing back. You're going to forget things. You're going to become a little bit unconscious sometimes of things. And you just become conscious again. You keep bouncing back. And you have to find a way that works for you. I forget shit all the fucking time. All the fucking time. I have to set reminders on my phone. I have to do all sorts of things. But listen, we bounce back. So yeah. Thank you so much, beautiful people, and have a blessed day.